One, go.
I think we lost Peter. We're live. It's College Football Saturday, the unofficial start to Week 1. I'm the big man on campus. This is the closing line with Peter and I. I think, Peter, we lost him for a second. Peter, you back up?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now. Well, you cut out right at the beginning. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, no, I lost my my internet connection for a second, I think. All right, so did you introduce the show?
I did. We're live. We're ready to go. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. It is the first Saturday of college football, Week 1, and Jeff, I'm sure that you are aware of my show with Into the Weekend with Bet DSI, which I do, which I've done for many years, where I've talked to the headlines better at DSI Sportsbook, and we're doing that show again this year, Jeff.
Yeah, I like the idea. Peter, that's one of the original programming pieces here at SBR. And I remember when I was a young lad, I didn't even I wasn't even on the airwaves here. I remember listening to that show, and I always wondered what Brent looked like. But the mysteriousness of him is always interesting. We're losing Peter here. He's coming in and out here. Hopefully, we can get him back up and straight here. But hopefully, we can. This won't be too difficult with the internet connection. But again, we know it all happens. Welcome into everyone out there as always. We do appreciate it. Hopefully, we can get the technical difficulties, fixed up here. Welcome in John Nelson, DJ One, Mike Robinson, Loose Cut, everyone out there. Young Kobe, Digital, Cambridge, Rich Bags. Welcome in everyone. This show runs at 11 a.m. Eastern. Gets you set right up to kickoff. And hopefully gives you an edge in your college football betting. Peter and I have been all over the card today, and we're ready to find some winners and to see and to answer some questions here. Week 1, I'm like a kid eating Fruit Loops, waiting for cartoons. Now it's college football. Yeah, that's the big thing. College football is center stage for guys like us. And Peter, when I lost you, I said the Into the Weekend is kind of like a mysterious thing. It's always been around. I've always wondered what Brent looked like, and I'm glad it's back up because it's one of the original programming things at SBR.
Yeah, for sure. All right, yeah, I did lose my connection there, but I think I'm back, and I think this should be permanently back. So I'm happy that he's done it again with us this year, and as starting things off right off the bat with interesting information with week 1 that absolutely blew my mind. And the first piece of information that I do want to share with you and make you aware of, Jeff, is that of course in the Maryland-Texas game, right? Huge game kicking off at 12 o'clock Eastern time. We did see kind of a move from an opener of 17 up to about 19 yesterday. And I told Brent that I thought that I'd be blown away if it turned out that was caused by sharp action, because a lot of these moves are not caused by sharp action. That one, according to Brent, there was actually a sharp guy who came in on Texas at minus 17, and that surprised me a ton because, Texas obviously high expectations, first game in the Tom Herman era, but Maryland is no joke of a team, giving them that many points, and a sharp guy actually bit. Now it looks though like the line is going back down, and in the show I asked Brent, I was like, there might be some sharp action that comes in on the other side on Maryland, and he said that if the line dips by kickoff, that might be an indication of that. That might be what we're seeing, because I was shocked that there was a sharp guy on Texas at minus 17. I mean, don't you feel like this is just too many points to be giving to Maryland?
No, I actually really like Texas in this game. I think, really? Peter, I think Texas is a team that I think they're an outside candidate to win the entire thing. I think with Tom Herman coming in there really kind of makes that program a winner all of a sudden. And I know Tom Herman, people kind of get into, don't get too hype on Tom Herman. It's a new program, but he comes into a really good situation offensively there. Defensively, I think they're really underrated, and people are really looking at them saying they're much of a sieve like they were last year. They're paying their defensive coordinator, Peter, a cool $1 million. There's not many coordinators that make $1 million. There's a lot of pressure on him to come in here and really do some good things. They can't be much worse than they were last year. I think Maryland is a team that's going to struggle. No real identity offensively. Did lose some good players to the NFL draft. I got to be honest, I have no problem, especially with some of the things also going on in Texas. I think it's hard to not look at that and say that's going to motivate, I think, Texas to kind of, fight for the state today. I think they come in here in a good spot. I thought this line was a little low. I thought it'd be closer to 20 or 21, but I guess it is getting up there. I have no problem. I think this game is similar, Peter, to Oklahoma State, Tulsa the other night. The difference is I don't know that Maryland could put up points like Tulsa did.
I mean, I see this as totally different because I think Oklahoma State had a massive talent advantage over Tulsa, and I'm not quite seeing that with Texas. I mean, you mentioned that the defensive coordinator is getting paid $1 million a year or whatever, but the defensive players I agree with you. I think they're going to be improved defensively, but the players on defense, how much are they getting paid?
Well, no, they're not getting paid anything.
There you go.
But Peter, here's the key. They're 1 year older. The talent is there. I think all around the football, they have a great group of guys as far as defensively.
Yes.
But the big thing here, Peter, is quarterback play. Bouchel comes in another year. He was really impressive last year. Remember that game against Notre Dame to open the season with Herman kind of leading the charge now, a full summer to kind of get prepared. Look, if this game was, 2-3 games in, maybe it'd be a little bit of a sneak up. But with them, with all this time to prepare, I think they're solely focused on Texas. I think this line, or solely focused on Maryland, I think this line's a little low, to be honest. I don't know that Maryland's going to have a lot of luck moving the football. They're not very good at that level. And look, they're going through a coaching change as well. So, for me, I would lean with Texas. I think they're going to be a team that, with Oklahoma State, one of those will win the Big 12.
Yeah, you might be right, and obviously it was a sharp guy who agreed with you. Although the line does appear to be headed back down a little bit. It's now 17.5 for the Greek and bookmaker. I was thinking about a shot with the under on this one. I was going to pass on the side, and I did actually bet the under. It's 56.5 or 57, and I agree with you. I definitely expect Texas to be much improved defensively, and they're going to be implementing more of a pro style offense as well this year. So I was thinking that we might. I mean, the only thing is that sometimes when you have a big high profile game like this, the first game of the season with the Tom Herman era, they do sometimes, there's a lot of energy around it, and sometimes the scores get run up. But I was thinking I actually see a bit of a smash mouth game here, and the under would be worth a shot. Do you think that's a little? I'd be preferring to get somewhere a couple points higher, maybe even in the low 60s. What do you think about an under at 57?
Yeah, I would lean with what you said. I would rather this total be 61 or 62, but yeah, I'm not in love with it just because I think Texas, they're a really up-tempo offense. I don't think they're going to really take much of a break. And at the end of the day, I mean, can Maryland stop? I don't think they can. I think this is like a 44-17 type of game. I think it's going to be close, but I would much prefer to get a total a little bit higher. I think with this warped Texas offense and but again, they could play really well on the defensive side. It wouldn't surprise me if they shut Maryland down. I think they're really improved on that side of the ball. We'll see, though, like you said, they're not getting paid any money, only the coordinator. So,
Look, I expect them to improve, but it's different when you have an offensive coordinator playing for a contract as opposed to in the pros where you have an actual player playing for an actual contract. But I agree with you. I was high to start on Texas for the year, and I think they're going to be much improved defensively. I was just taken aback by the size of this line. So we'll see. Another game that's very interesting with a team that has a new scheme, starts at 12:20 Eastern time, is California at North Carolina. And of course, Cal, was for a bunch of years was a team that just was like horrific on defense and tried to make up for it with a super high-powered, highly charged offense. Now they're changing things around a little bit, totally revamping the offense to have a new system, trying to get better on defense. It probably will pay some dividends defensively. I mean, it's kind of one of those situations where they have only one way to go, which is up. So the question is how much of an improvement will they make? And then North Carolina is also a team that comes into this game looking a little bit stronger on defense. They have actually a great front seven. And a lot of turnover on offense. So this is another game where I was leaning under and also seeing a road team where I'm not quite seeing why they should be a double-digit underdog here. Obviously, UNC loses a lot on offense. Cal is still a Pac-12 team. Should Cal be getting double digits? And what do you think about the under? Because I'm leaning Cal on the under, baby.
Yeah, I think the under's a pretty good play here, Peter. You had a lot of turnover, both of these teams. Yeah. They look like really a shell of what they were last year. I've actually picked North Carolina. I think they're going to have a tough season. And right out of the gate here against Cal, a team that does have a new coach as well. They're still going to run up tempo, but it's not going to be as quick and as fast as it was. Look, both these teams have growing pains, but I think when you have growing pains, first game out of the chute, the problem here with the total, Peter, is I mean, look, it's went down almost 10 points from the opener. You're probably not going to get that key opener. That was literally the first opener, and it came out, and it went immediately to 61.5. Obviously, you're not going to get that total. But, yeah, look, Peter, North Carolina lost.
Cal UNC. I'm seeing an opener at Pinnacle of 55.5.
Yeah, I guess I might be looking at the wrong. You know what? I'm looking at the wrong game. My fault, Peter. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, new quarterbacks for both teams. A lot of new skill position players. The question is are these defenses any better? Because in a game like this, could be one of those wild games where they just throw everything out and whatever happens, happens. But, yeah, I think it's too many points, personally. I would take the points here with the road team. I was surprised to see North Carolina laying this kind of number. First game out of the chute. A whole new team. Fedora's a good offensive genius, but it's going to take a real genius to fix and kind of get this program going after all they lost their quarterback, all their wide receivers, the running back.
Offensive line, there's turnover on the line as well,
I would take the dog here as well. I agree.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, and I was thinking about the under. I will give some official plays here before this video is done, Jeff Nadu, and also congratulations to you last week on our first show, 2 picks. Two cashers, during the show, I said, Jeffrey, okay, we're going to track religiously our record. You didn't care at all, no fear, and started things off with 2 winners. So nice job. Last week I went 2 and 3. I'll tell you, I'm thinking about the under in Maryland, Texas. I'm thinking about Cal and the under in Cal, North Carolina. What are you thinking about from this card, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm going to throw out a pick that I'm really interested in. I'm really high on. I think we're going to have a nice winner here, Peter. I'm going to go with Western Michigan plus 28 against USC. I just think this is a little too many points. I know USC is the darlings, and everyone's going to come in here and think that they're a high-level program going to win everything. Look, Darnold's very impressive. This offense is really impressive. But it's too many points. Western Michigan comes in here with a team that is a lot further than you might think. They lose Fleck, who, look, he was a culture genius. We know that. But the coach coming in here, he's a lifelong Western Michigan guy. He went to Western Michigan. All I've heard is the culture is set in stone there. They're really trying to adapt that and move on. They had a lot of players stay with this current team. They have a new quarterback, Tom Flacco, who has that famous last name. He got some good reps last year. I think offensively they're going to be able to run the football. They have a pretty good run game. Their defense is still pretty good as well. They didn't lose a ton on defense. I'm just one to think that they can hang here. I don't think they're that typical whipping boy week 1. I think a lot of people have migrated. This is a really good public game on USC because a lot of people are high on USC. They don't really expect a lot from Western Michigan due to the coaching change and the complete culture move there. But I think Western Michigan's a lot further than people think. I think they're going to really battle it out in the MAC this year, and we'll be probably the second best team in that conference. I think there's too many points. I think they hang around here and get within the number.
Yeah, you might be right. Interesting. Obviously, USC obviously is an interesting team this year. I am in the camp that is kind of high on USC, and normally I see USC as a team that's likely to be overvalued. But I kind of like how they finished the year. There were some indications that the way they finished the year last year was even that there was indication that they were even better than how they actually played. And I kind of like the coaching change. I think that USC is the kind of program that does better when they don't have a sort of a flashy coach with a lot of drama around him. I like the coaching change up for USC, although I also agree with you. I'm not sure that they're going to be a good bet when they're a huge favorite here. I think they might be the kind of team that I'm looking to bet on when they're like, a single-digit favorite in a competitive game. So I kind of agree with you. I'm kind of high on USC, but I'm definitely not going to be touching this game, at least as of right now. I have 2 questions for you. First of all, are you also high on USC in general this year, or you think they're going to be overvalued? Some people I've read, I think including Ed Fang and but USC is kind of like a quote unquote trendy pick to pick as another overvalued team once again this year.
Yeah, they're always a team that is trendy. I mean, obviously all that talent out in California. Look, I'd like Darnold. Darnold's really impressive. He's going to be a Heisman Trophy candidate. It's just the rest of the team. I mean, as far as, they get all these big recruits seemingly. I don't know. I'm kind of numb on them. I know Washington didn't play well last night. I'm pretty high on them in the Pac-12. But look, overall, do I like them? Yeah, I like them long term. But to cover a big number like this in week 1, no. I'm going to kind of go with the feeling that I'm going to wait to see with USC. We always hear every year how good they are, and they usually get to a high-level bowl game, and that's about it. So for me, I'm going to see. But in this one, I just think this is way too many points.
All right, plus 28. We'll put that on your official record. Plus 28 minus 110.
That's fine. Love it.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, we'll see how they do this. Yeah, and I kind of think that we won't learn much about USC. And I'm a buyer on them. But again, yeah, as a smaller favorite, not in this kind of a spot with this kind of a line. There's also some other interesting games. One game I'm thinking about, very interesting matchup here. Let's see if you have anything to say about it. I think that I do. It's Troy and Boise State. Starts at 3:45, and Boise State, a really wacky team. Since the coaching change at Boise State, they've kind of underachieved a little bit. At least for Boise State standards, right? Some people are saying that, that the luster is kind of off of that team as sort of like a dominant elite team. Still good, but not dominant. There are some statistical reasons, though, to believe that Boise actually got a little bit unlucky, quirkily unlucky over the last few years. They have an awesome quarterback, obviously, coming back, Rippey, and he's going to be a great, solid leader for them. And then on the other side, Troy was a revelation last year. They also are very strong offensively. And, of course, we remember, what they did against hold on a second. Wait, no. Yeah, who did Troy play last year? That they played so tightly in
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yeah, that's right. And
oh no, I'm sorry. No, Clemson. My fault. Clemson. They went to Clemson.
Right. And yeah, that's right. And so I'm thinking that I was leaning towards the over on this one. I would normally be leaning towards Troy here, except I don't really want to be betting against Boise State. I could see it as a game that is, close all the way, and then Boise State pulls away at the end. But I think both teams are further along offensively than they are defensively. Kind of a high total. It's up to a 60 or 60 and a half right now. But I'm still thinking about the over. What do you think, Jeff?
I really like Troy here, Peter. I think they're a live dog in this game. You mentioned that game against Clemson. I don't know if anyone knows this, but they held Deshaun Watson to his lowest yardage output last year. Really impressive game. They were right there in that football game. I know I was impressed. Them only losing by 6. Yeah, I like Troy in this game. Boise State's – I'm sick of this group. I mean, every year it's how they're going to win the Mountain West. They're finally going to get up and over that. But, Peter, in the last 4 years, they've made the conference tournament final one time. San Diego State's just owned them. And I'm kind of sick of talking about them. Until they put up and shut up, it's time to kind of move on. I like their quarterback, but other than that, I think Troy's a team with a lot of seniors. This is a big game for them. I know they have to go and travel here, but I think it's just too many points. I think they're a live dog. I think Brandon Silvers is a guy that will do some good things. They have a good run game. And defensively, they're really solid up front. They aren't as decorated as you might think. They don't have a big name, but they stop the run. They do a good job of kind of keeping the game close. And I think they're going to give their offense a chance to win this game. I think this is too many points. They're another underdog that I'm looking at. Peter, we have a donation. How about that? A little bit of a donation here.
Very nice. How much was the donation?
$5 from James.
All right,
He's quickly saying, yes, we get 50%. You get $250, I get $250. But maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll give you 3 and I'll take 2. You are the head man here. James Reno, he's saying,
all right, thanks. I'm sorry?
Real quick, he says, I have a teaser that only needs Bama -1. Should I hedge and take Florida plus points? No, you should not. It's straight up week 1. All you got to do is win the football game. Look, I think Florida State's really good, but I don't think they're going to come in and win this game. This is not, to me, I don't think a good spot for Florida State week 1. It's going to show us a little bit, but I don't know if they're ready for this. They have a lot of young players. They're really rebuilding kind of in the run game. They have some good athletes, but are they ready to face this Nick Saban and Alabama week 1 in Atlanta? I would stay with your play. Hedging is for people that just want to break even. I'm not in this to break even. James, it's really up to you. But, Peter, you would agree. If you have Alabama basically in a pick'em situation, I wouldn't buy out of that. No way.
Yeah, I mean, in general, it's hedging is from an EV perspective, usually not a good thing to do. And in this spot, I mean, this is a game where I talked to Brent about this game. No sharp action at all as yet. Huge public action, of course, split basically down the middle. The public is kind of favoring Alabama a bit, but basically split. And yeah, I mean, this game that I'm staying off of. Nick Saban obviously tends to be awesome in week one, and he tends to be awesome in games with these kinds of spreads. So yeah, as good as Florida State is, I'm not saying I'd be betting Alabama -7, but if you gave me a free play on this one, I probably would take that. And if I had him in a teaser, I would not hedge out with Florida State at all. I'd let it ride and look for Alabama to get a win. Do you think there's any betting value on that game at all, or do you think that it's a pack? For me, as of right now, obviously an awesome game from a fan perspective. From a betting perspective, feels like a pass to me, though.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. From a betting perspective, I don't know that there's a ton of value in it. I do think Alabama will end up winning by like 10 or 13. Yeah. I just think they're just much better right now than everyone else. Florida State will be a team. This game's not going to hurt their chances. They'll be there at the end. And I know Alabama can struggle against dual-threat quarterbacks, but it's the first game. If this game was third or fourth week, okay, maybe I'll give it to you in the middle of the season. But it's the first game. This is a game where Saban's going to be very prepared. And don't be surprised. And they're going to throw the football down the field. I'm interested to see how Hurts throws the football down the field. He was not the best passer last year. Peter, I got to ask you about a game. I don't know if you looked at this one, but it's had some interesting line movement and two teams that should have some positive years. 157, 158, Miami of Ohio, up to 2.5 against Marshall. Marshall off a tough year last year. I know for Doc Holliday standards, this was clearly wasn't a successful year. To me, they're one of the more disappointing teams. They're kind of that program that you always look to be really good in Conference USA. Didn't have much going, but this year brought in some JC guys. The quarterback's back. This game's at home. A lot of positivity with Miami of Ohio. Public loves them. Do you have anything on this game?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that public action or sharp action that flipped that line? Because I think that might be sharp action. This was a game that I looked at a little bit, and I wasn't sure what I thought, but I did say to myself there might be some I was actually expecting late line movement that might be very telling, and we're definitely seeing that. It's now up to -2 at Pinnacle, so some big sharp action coming into Miami of Ohio. That makes me think that line move is probably accurate. If this has come earlier in the week, maybe not, but day of game at this point in the day, that's the classic kind of line move that makes me think that it's a sharp move. And so you're not a believer in that one. You're liking Marshall here?
Yeah, I do. I do kind of like them here. Again, this is the tough thing about week one. There's so many changes. Do you believe in this or do you not? But yeah, I do like both these teams. But I think at home, Marshall, if you can get that up to 3, I think that's a worthy bet. I think Miami of Ohio, people are a little too high on. I know you said this is sharp action, but I also wouldn't be surprised if the public bet this one. All I've heard is how good Miami of Ohio is going to be. People are down on Marshall. They have a good coach. They'll be prepared here. They're off a season where they didn't perform well. I think at home, I think it might be a good spot to take them to get the job done. Where else are we going here? Peter, any other games you're looking at?
Well, I can tell you about one. I can tell you about one game that was also reported to have sharp action, which is understandable, more understandable to me than the Texas game, and that is Notre Dame. Notre Dame sharp action, according to Brent from BetDSI. Sharp guys came in on now. There was a big move on that one, and the sharp action came in when the line was a lot lower than it is right now, where it's about 18. I think Brent told us came in at 14 or something. But obviously, Notre Dame coming off of a very, very disappointing year. Notre Dame is, of course, as we know, a perennially overvalued, underachieving team, but they're coming off of such a disappointing season that this might be, a time to switch course and look for them to maybe be a little bit undervalued, maybe to actually, start to overachieve a little bit or outperform their spreads a little bit. And of course, Temple comes into this, this game with uncertainty at quarterback, lost their coach and everything. So sort of uncertainty around Temple. Notre Dame with maybe a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Now it's up to 18, and obviously Notre Dame is looking like they're going to have a big advantage in the trenches. What do you think? You think Notre Dame's a good bet here to get a blowout?
No, I like the Owls here. I think they're a team that is really – I don't know how good they are offensively. I do know one thing. They have a very good run game. Raquel Armstead is a great running back. I follow this program probably more than any other college football team. You could probably say they're the team that I would root for. And they do have some questions at quarterback. They have 4 guys, Peter, vying for this spot. And, I think they have their guy. But They have some really good receivers, a couple of the best in the conference. Jeff Collins comes over from Florida. He's going to have a defense that did lose some pieces and some big pieces. We all know that. But I think in the secondary, they're really good. The secondary is definitely going to be able to kind of keep them in football games, something that was kind of the opposite. Their defensive line was their strength. But you talked about it. A lot of question marks from Notre Dame coming into the year. Can Brandon Wimbush carry this offense? So big, such big shoes to fill with Kaiser gone. And look, Brian Kelly's on the chopping block to me. I don't know if this is the right game. Temple's not a team that's just going to lay down here. They're not East Carolina or Stony Brook. This is a pretty good team with still plenty of leaders on that side of the football. I think they're going to rise up on the road here and go in and get a cover. I don't know if they'll win. They're not going to win, but I think this game's within 2 touchdowns. I really want to believe that.
Okay, well, it is up to 18.5. Heritage has 18, which indicates a lean to Temple with Heritage. And again, the sharp action that Brent told us about, I believe, came in at 14. I don't remember the exact number that he told us about. The sharp action, though, is not always correct. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember all the drama with the Oklahoma State total that I was involved with last week, Jeff. Remember that?
I do. Yeah, you had a lot of line move in that game.
Yes. So in the show this week, which should be up now, I believe, I asked Brent about that game specifically. I said, Brent, I had 71. I loved it. Went up to 74. Then it crashed 69.5, and then it went sailing over. And I asked him specifically about that game. I said, Brent, why the hell did that line crash? Was that sharp action? And Brent said, yes, it was due to big sharp action on the under. And I just sat there in the video. I said, Brent, take that guy off the list of sharps because that guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Sometimes this reported sharp action is absolutely wrong. And you might be right here with Temple being the right play at 18.5, Jeff.
Peter, you know what's great about sharp action? I think we're just as sharp as anyone else. We might not have the deep billionaire oil pockets, but
right.
I'll tell you what, you and me, we've done some good things. We're just as sharp. Peter Loshak, I got a question for you. How about this? And I know a lot of people don't know this, but James Madison's a really good FCS team. They're probably second best. They're a 7-point favorite today. Judging where you look, you might get 6.5 or 6, depending on where you shop. They're a 7-point favorite today against East Carolina, Division I team. How about that? I was really high kind of going into the season. I wanted and kind of pegged this game. I didn't think they'd open up as a touchdown favorite. How about that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, and I'm looking at the line here. It does seem to be an uncertain market line. It's possible that the SBR odds feed here is a little bit slow, but I don't think it is. It's 7, but all the sharp books appear to be having Eastern Carolina. Pinnacle has 6.5, and then Bookmaker and the Greek have 6. So that's a very, very sharp lean there by Bookmaker. Bookmaker is trying to out-sharp Pinnacle on that one. So from what I'm seeing right here, just based on what I'm seeing at SBR odds, it looks like the sharpest books really like Eastern Carolina here getting points and don't think James Madison should be a favorite. Just reading the line here.
Yeah, really interesting. I thought this would be – I mean, I thought East Carolina would definitely open up as a favorite against an FCS team. But again, market's not too high on I guess not too high on East Carolina, which I'm not either. I think they're a really bad team.
Right. Again, the market. They opened it at at Pinnacle. They opened as an 8.5-point dog, East Carolina. And so again, I'm seeing based on just like reading the line right now, Intertops has 7.5. So you go to Intertops and get East Carolina plus 7.5. But again, all of the books that take big sharp action appear to be trying to out-sharp each other on fading James Madison here as a big favorite. So that's certainly an interesting handicapping situation, and also a very interesting a line comparison situation that we have going on right now, which you can see at SBR odds. All right, let me see if there's anything else that I was thinking about as far as personal leans and bet. Oh, here, all right, Jeff. Tell me what you think about this one.
All right.
This is another lean that I had that seems to be moving way against me, and it's the South Carolina-North Carolina State matchup, right? Now, this one is, of course, this is like a border war. It's being played on a neutral site. Obviously, NC State has some great strengths this year. Some very admirable stuff on paper. They have a ferocious defensive line. Maybe the best in the ACC. Good for them, but obviously they lose a lot offensively. South Carolina comes in here with Muschamp, trying to establish some kind of respectable identity. And I was thinking that not necessarily South Carolina is going to win, but at an underdog of anything, more than 4 points, they might have a little bit of value. But the line, since I made that decision, has crept up considerably. It's now 6.5 or 7. The Greek is hanging 7. Bookmakers at 7. Pinnacle has 6.5. Juice to the favorite. Again, I would probably say that North Carolina State overall has the better roster, but should they be this big of a favorite over South Carolina in this spot on a neutral field?
Yeah, I think they should. I actually, Peter, I'm going to share this. This is actually a premium play of mine. I'm going to come out and say that. Yeah, I really like the Wolfpack in this spot. I think you made a point early that you said that their defensive line. Yeah. I think their defensive line might be the best in the country. They are really strong up front, and that's the problem here. I don't know if South Carolina is going to be able to do much on offense. I don't really trust their quarterback until I see something there. I know their secondary at North Carolina State has some problems, but I'm not sure it's going to be that tested today. I look at the Wolfpack on offense, and I see a team that I think is really going to underrate this year. I'm really high on them overall. One of my previews I was really high on this team. I think Ryan Finley comes over from Boise. It's put up or shut up time for Dave Doran. I thought at times last year he might get fired. They ended up making a bowl game, having a nice end of the year. I think this team's going to come out. They have a guy in Jalen Samuels who really is dynamic on the outside there, and that defensive line with Bradley Chubb, so many big options up front.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win this game by 10+. I'm okay laying the touchdown. I think that defensive line is really going to cause some havoc on Jake Bentley in South Carolina. It is a neutral field, which you're right, it's kind of like a border war, but I'm just not that high on South Carolina. They've had kind of a tough couple of years here, and I think Muschamp's going to take a little time with this group. I like the Wolfpack here.
I mean, I completely agree with you that the essential matchup here, the key matchup here is NC State's defensive front, not against the quarterback, but against the offensive line. If they can't protect him, forget about it. It's game over. But NC State is also, thin in the secondary. There's a lot of turnover in the secondary. And if the offensive line can protect the quarterback just a little bit, then South Carolina might have a productive offense here. But, of course, if they can't, it's a big if. And if they can't, then it's lights out. So you gave it as a premium pick. Well, the line is clearly headed up. So you probably got a much better line than what it is right now. What line did you give it at?
6.5, Peter.
Oh, okay. So it's 6.5, but it's 7 now at Heritage Bookmaker, the Greek. It's just climbing up and up and up and up. Wow. Okay, I might be on the wrong side of that. Yeah,
Peter, that's me in my big pockets betting NC State. That's moving up.
Yeah, the people following you in their big pockets. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Again, I was looking at this and I was just like, is NC State's defensive line really going to be able to dominate South Carolina's offensive line right off the bat? The answer to that may be absolutely yes. Okay, great insights and breakdowns, Jeff from BMO. Jeff, sorry.
You know what, Peter? Hey, I know it's normal. Listen. Here's the reason, Peter. I just don't want to be that guy that comes on here. I'm not pushing a tout service. I have a good group of guys that I deal with. I've always never been like that, and I don't want to be like that. But I know it's part of kind of your delivery. Peter, here's a question here. John Nelson, any thoughts on Penn State Akron over? I want to tell you, I had a really good feel for this over. I thought it was a game that a lot of people would be, maybe involved with Penn State, but really not know what to expect from Akron. Terry Bowden's teams usually are run the football, play good defense, but they're really not that anymore. Tommy Woodson, their quarterback, when he's in the football game, they're a good offense. They can move the football. Their defense has struggled until I saw the weather forecast. Up at State College right now, we should be good with weather probably in the next hour. This is an early start, though, and it's really raw and just kind of rainy. And for me, I'm just going to kind of stay away. I think this rain will be a bit of a factor. That's keeping me off the over here. But if this was warm and 70 degrees and sunny, I would definitely be on the over in this game. I think these two teams are definitely going to put up some points. We know with Penn State's up-tempo offense, they like to move the football. Clemson, Kent State, Peter, big number here. And I'm actually wanting to back the underdog. I think Kent State is a live dog.
Wait, first let me just comment very quickly on the Penn State total. That is, first of all, I agree with you. I think that Penn State is going to be a team that will be looking at least have team total overs at times. But this is that's a total where Brett told us that obviously the public is all over the over, and he took early sharp action on the over as well, like 63.5. So that's a game that has one-way action on the total, and if it does go over, book's going to take a hit on that one. So just FYI, there was sharp action on the over earlier in the week.
Yeah, and you might be good though. I mean, weather-wise, looks like rain's tapering off, so they might get this one in, and there not be much rain involved. But Peter, last night I was on that fucking Navy game. 6,000 different delays. I was lucky to get that in because I had Navy. So, yeah, that was I thought at some point it'd get canceled. But shout out to Lane Kiffin. I don't usually like him, but he made a good decision to keep that one going. Don't sleep on Bethune-Cookman, says Taylor H. Yes, Taylor H., sleep on Bethune-Cookman. They're going to get absolutely slaughtered today against the Miami Hurricane. Interesting game here. Someone's asking about, Peter. Clemson and Kent State. Kent State's usually a very poor offensive team, can't move the ball. But Clemson comes in here, kind of knew everything. New quarterback, some new receivers, new defense, a contract extension for Dabo Swinney. Listen, I'm not going to say Kent State's not going to get anywhere near winning this game, but when you're laying big numbers, Peter, the only real key you need to ask yourself is, do I see this team scoring once, maybe 10 points? I think Kent State can do that today. I've had some good reads early on, some of these big numbers. Not so much last night with Fordham, Peter, because people can talk about lines all they want. I got a great number, 21.5 with Fordham last night. Dropped to 16 at one point. They lose 64-6. So for all you people talking about CLV, it doesn't fucking mean anything if you don't win. But in this game, I think Kent can score 10 or 13 points. Their quarterback, Holly, is a dual threat guy. He's much better than some of the stagnant statue quarterbacks they've had that they just put up zeros like it's no one's business. I think with some turnover, don't be surprised if Kent kind of does a Florida A&M, Peter, scores a touchdown and hangs within this number.
Yeah, I mean, I generally would completely agree with you. Don't forget, last year in week 1, Kent State came within 20 points of Penn State, remember? And they covered that game, lost by only 20. And obviously Clemson here, obviously the defending champion, they have absolutely zero to prove, at least in week 1 against a cupcake like Kent State. Are they going to be motivated to run up the score? I don't think so. And just as you said, does Kent State have enough exactly to put something up at some point? And I think they probably do, because there are some tools on offense, right? Nick Holly is a quarterback who is has some positives to him, and they also have an experienced secondary, Kent State. So I would agree with you. I think that probably, and the line has dipped a little bit. It's now 38.5. If it goes down too far, I'd start to get nervous. But I agree with you. I mean, Clemson is obviously rebuilding and redefining themselves after the national championship. They have nothing to prove here. And I agree with you. I would think that Kent State might have some sneaky value here.
Yeah, I think this is like a 41-7, 41-10 type of game.
Right.
Peter, how about let's do this? How about we go rapid fire, answer some of these questions, and then we'll wrap it up with our best bets, and we'll get up off here. I know that's the weekend. And shout out to the guy talking about us in bathrooms. Okay, I'm in a goddamn beach house, and Peter's home with his socks on, hanging out on a weekend. Don't break our balls about where we're at.
Yeah, what was you breaking our balls about? There's bathrooms in the background?
Well, no, some guy said all the money SBR has, and these guys are doing videos in their bathroom.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean.
No, but also, that's like the hot new trend in social media. It's all your social media in bathrooms. So I can't help it if one of the commenters just is behind the times on the curve and isn't with it. But that is the hot new trend in social media marketing right now.
You know what, Peter? You know what I'm going to add here? I'm going to add a little official play to my record here. According to Best Gambler, a listener of ours here, the team total for Kent State is 6, Peter. 6.
The team total – let me check. I'm going to check the Pinnacle line right now as we speak.
If that's a play, I'm going over, and that's going to be an official play.
Pinnacle, let's see.
Could be a bad line. We'll see. Peter's getting it up here.
Yeah, hold on one second. Let's see. Kent State team totals. Pinnacle tends to release their team totals very, very late. Okay, yeah, it might be. I mean, let me just add up the. Let's see. Kent State. What's the line? The line is 38, and the total is let's see.
51.
It's 52. So yeah, that would make 6 would be a little bit low. It should be 7, but or 6.5. If you're getting 6, there's probably good value there. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me double check here. That's actually something I want to get here for sure, because if I can get the right number, at 5 dimes, it's 7 at plus 110. So again, I was hoping to get 6.5. You know what? I want to stay off that. I feel like they could score 7 or at most 10. So I'll stay off that. but I do think Kent will hang around. You know what? I'm going to make that an official bet. I'm going to go with Kent State plus 38.5 here at betonline.eu.
Yes.
I'm going to go with that here. That's going to be my second play. Peter, let's go rapid fire here. Kentucky against.
Okay, wait, one quick second. That's
Sure.
going to be, you want 38.5 minus 115 or 38 minus 106 at Pinnacle?
I'm going to go 38.5 at BetOnline. All right, here. Let's take a look here. Listen, Kentucky Southern Miss. I like Southern Miss at a better number. If you like Southern
we didn't
Miss,
even talk about that game.
Yeah.
What's up? Apparently, I was thinking. I mean, obviously, when these two teams meet, there's you know, they've been high scoring, but there was sharp action to the under here. I'm not quite sure what's up with that.
Yeah, as far as the under, yeah. Look, I think the big question mark for Southern Miss for me, and kind of why I'm not going to play this game. First of all, the line went down, and second of all, Nick Mullins is gone, the quarterback. They have a new quarterback here at Southern Miss University. I'm high on this team, but I want to see what we get out of Quadra Greggs, the new quarterback. They've had some trouble with him and Keon Howard, the two backups from last year. I'm going to see what happens here. I'm going to pass on this one, but as far as the over, both these teams shouldn't have any problem scoring. As far as the quarterback situation, that for me, it's just something I don't want to get involved with right away with Southern Miss. What do you think about the side here, Pierre? Anything?
I mean, it baffles me a little bit. Obviously, it's a huge revenge game for Kentucky because Kentucky lost at home last year in week 1. So now they come back in a revenge spot. But just in terms of talent, it seems like these two teams are fairly evenly matched, and that when they play, the games are more likely than not to go down to the wire. So anytime you're getting more than a touchdown when these two teams are playing, you know, no matter who's in the lineup, just in general how the programs are, I'm looking at the underdog. So, but I mean, I know it's a revenge spot for Kentucky, a big revenge spot, you know, so maybe that's the factor here, but I'm not quite seeing it. And when I looked at this earlier, it was like 10 or 10.5. Now it's gone down to 9.5. So that could be sharp action as well. I mean, you know, I know it's a revenge spot. I'm not going to bet it, but I'd be leaning Southern Miss here.
Yeah, if I had to bet it, I would go that way as well. What do you think about Pitt, Youngstown State? Youngstown State's a pretty good football team. Bo Pelini, they went to, I believe, to the Final Four of the FCS playoffs last year. Pitt with Max Brown, the new guy coming in. I think he's going to have a pretty good season with Pitt. They have a good way of kind of taking these quarterbacks that couldn't perform at big schools like Tennessee or USC and kind of making them into pretty decent quarterbacks. And look, Narduzzi, the problem with this troop is Narduzzi's known to be a defensive guy, but I think a lot of that came from great recruiting at Michigan State and him kind of being a little bit better than he was. They're going to struggle defensively. I don't have much opinion on that game. Do you have anything on that one, Pete?
No, not really. No, I did not have time to look at that one.
Michigan, do they cover today? Listen, I know my partner Donnie Wright said, and I don't know about you, Peter, but we went back and forth in this game. Early on, we really liked, even with the suspensions, we liked Florida. But at this point, now with the running back out as well, a quarterback, a true freshman quarterback against Michigan, I'm off it. I think Michigan will end up winning this game and probably covering. Sometimes, Peter, I like to bet on teams that have like their best player out. I think a lot of the time motivates them, and you know, especially in like at the NBA and those kind of things. Usually, line-wise, it comes through, but this is just too many guys out, Peter. I mean, I can't get involved with it.
I mean, suspension games can be tricky. Big suspension games, I tend to stay off of unless I have a reason to believe that there's like solid reason to believe there's good value one way or the other. But if I don't have that reason, I tend to stay off of games, especially early in the year when there's big suspensions involved.
Yeah. Do you guys have underwear on or pants on? Yes, I have pants on. Peter, do you?
Yeah. You want me to stand up? I'll show you. I'm wearing nothing, baby. Natural.
You don't have to stand up. It's all right.
Okay.
Peter, how about this game? This is one a lot of people are talking about. Do you guys like App State today against Georgia?
I mean, you know, obviously Appalachian State is an awesome Sun Belt team. I have heard some advanced analytics guys saying that at 14 they're a good bet. Yeah, they probably are a good bet. I'm as of right now, I'm staying off of that one. I'm going to do a little bit deeper research into it. Although actually now the line has moved to 12.5 or 13. I'm assuming that's because of sharp action, because the power ratings guys all liked Appalachian State at 14. So I have no personal opinion on it. I'm going to hold off for now. But yeah, the power rankings guys liked Appalachian State there.
I'm going to add another doggy dog to my official picks. I'm going to go with the Mountaineers here. Peter, how can I not go with them? It's the 10-year anniversary of them beating Michigan, which to me was one of the best upsets I've ever seen. And again, I know that has nothing to do with this team, but this team is very good. I think they're the best team by a decent margin in the Sun Belt. Their quarterback, Taylor Lamb, they have a good running game. The good thing about them is they play good defense. They kind of run a really boring offense, but they're effective. They hold the football a little bit, move it effectively. And, Georgia's another one of those teams that I just – every year, like Boise State, they're going to be good. They got a good defense. They got a Heisman Trophy caliber running back and a good quarterback. And they fall flat on their face seemingly every year. First game out of the stocks here. I can't go with Georgia. I don't know how on earth. And, yeah, I'm talking to you, Drew Martin. How on earth you can lay 13 with Georgia? I don't understand that thinking pattern. It might be a public side, but I think Appalachian State can not only cover, I think they can win this game. I think, Peter, it reminds me a lot of – I remember a video I did with you a while ago, Georgia Southern, Georgia. It was 2 years or so ago. Georgia Southern had that vaunted rush attack. They were getting like 13 points, same situation. They almost won the football game. Don't be surprised if App State, like last year, puts a scare in an SEC team. They did it week 1 last year. Final game for me, Peter, and for me, it's all about the line here. I think a lot of people aren't reading into it, and we'll recap our picks at the end. Yeah. Eastern Washington, a lot of people look at this team every year and they say, that's that FCS team I want to bet on. They love to score. They get that beautiful little red field they have and everything. But here's the problem this year with them. They have a new coach. Their offensive coordinator's gone. What the hell do you expect from Eastern Washington this year? One thing I do know is they're going to get absolutely run all over by Texas Tech. And I know Texas Tech's not a good football team. They're not going to win anything this year. One thing I do know, they love to throw the ball and they're good at it. This line's all over the place. You can get 10 at Bookmaker and it's 8.5 at Pinnacle. For me, I'll grab that one quick, 8.5 at Pinnacle. Texas Tech's the one favorite I'm on tonight.
Yeah, 8.5 minus 117. Texas Tech and hold on a second, Texas Tech. Yeah, I mean Texas Tech. They're obviously their big negative is when they get absolutely shredded and gashed by any elite offense that they face. But their defense is going to probably likely to be a lot better against teams that aren't in the top of the Big 12 in terms of offense. And Texas Tech might make some improvements defensively this year in general. They might start off here with that one. I like that one. Nice call, Jeff from. Sorry again.
No problem, buddy.
-8.5, minus 117. Some of the smaller books. UWager has 8.5, minus 110 still. And the Greek has 9, minus 110. That line does appear to be creeping up. That line might be 11.5 or 12 by kickoff. We will see. All right, so Jeff, I have for you Western Michigan plus 28, Kent State plus 38.5, minus 115, Appalachian State plus 13, minus 107, and Texas Tech minus 8.5, minus 117.
I love it. That's a 4-pack of picks for you. I love it. Right. Peter, what are you on today? Let's hear it. The frustrating thing for me, though, is that a lot of my college football picks, maybe I'll just start tweeting them out and then adding to my record, because a lot of my picks wind up being, last minute or close to kickoff. Like yesterday, it was obvious to me that Navy was a great bet against Florida Atlantic. But and that's how I was leaning the whole week. But I was just, doing my research, checking other information, and then when it came in, similar to Steve from College Football Winning.com, my final decisions come very close to kickoff, so it's a little bit tough. But I will give. Okay, here are my picks. First of all, definitely I will give, even though the line appears to be headed up for UNC, I'll give Cal plus 13 at Bookmaker. Cal plus 13, minus 110, and then I will give the over in the Boise State game. I think that Ripien should lead this offense so well, and again, Troy has an offense that can be productive. The line is headed down, which is concerning, but also okay. And I'll take Troy and Boise over 59.5, minus 108 at Pinnacle. And that's going to be it for me for now. Although if I have any other picks that I definitely want to add on, I'm just going to have to tweet them out when they're closer to kickoff, because a lot of my final decisions, I mean, some of them come, on the opening lines, and then some of them come like an hour before. Most of them come like an hour before kickoff. Yeah, no, I hear you. Obviously, week 1's interesting. There's a lot of heavy line moves. Peter, let's do 5 more minutes here. We got a ton of people watching here. This might be the most popular show I've ever seen as far as live views. Yeah, we have over almost 200 live viewers right now, which Really impressive stuff. Give us the likes, guys, if you're out there. Everyone out there, give us a like. We did greatly appreciate it. We're working on pitching a shutout. I'm sure some idiot will come in here and dislike it. But again, give us a like. Let us know you're out there. Let us know you would like to say hello. West Kentucky minus 35 today. Yeah, I mean, Mike White and that offense shouldn't have any problem scoring points. If I'm going to lay a big number today, Peter, you know where it is? I'm going to lay a big number with South Florida minus 34 against Stony Brook. I don't see any reason that they don't win this one, 55-7. They should pound. I was actually surprised. This line's pretty low for my liking. I thought it'd be up into the 40s. I think Quentin Flowers has a huge day in this one. They'll decide this one early. One thing you got to know about Stony Brook, they are bad offensively. They cannot move the football. South Florida should roll in this game. If I'm going to lay 34, 35, 36, that's the game I'm keying in on. I'm going to look at South Florida. Let's do one or two.
I wonder what the first half line on that one is. Also, that might be a good play as well.
Sure.
On like minus 20.5 or 21. Yeah, I got burned. I got South Florida minus 20.5 against San Jose State, and they won by 20, of course. But yeah, I'm agreeing with you. South Florida is a team that I'm high on in general against any mediocre or crappy opponent, and you might be dead on there, Jeff. Thanks so much. I wasn't aware of what the deal was with Stony Brook, but that might be a great pick there.
Yeah, no, they really have some trouble. One or two more here. Nevada Northwestern. I'm very high this year on the Wildcats. I actually have them at 18-1 to win the Big Ten. I don't know that it'll happen, but I think in the Big Ten West, if they can get by Wisconsin, I'm going to have a really good hedge opportunity there. We'll take a shot with it, see how it goes. I like this group. I think defensively they're going to be much improved, and I like their offense. Clayton Thorson, some of their guys there, well coached. Nevada's a team that's going to struggle. They're in a little bit of a culture change there. They don't know who their quarterback is. New offense, new defense. I really think Northwestern comes out here and hits a team in Nevada that's just really on the opposite wavelengths of where they're going. Nevada's going to struggle this year.
Yeah, and there's a at least on paper appears to be a huge discrepancy in terms of running offense, and rushing defense that favors Northwestern. It's just the only thing that makes me nervous is just a line this high, 24, especially when you're expecting, when Nevada has, when you're expecting a lot of running from Northwestern to take advantage of Nevada's run defense last year. And then Nevada with sort of an uncertain situation on offense, they might come out and surprise Northwestern a little bit. We know it's going to be an air raid attack, and we don't know who the quarterback is going to be. So there is a little bit of an element of uncertainty and surprise that favors Nevada. It could favor Nevada a little bit. And so when you're talking about you're expecting a big running offensive game plan from Northwestern combined with a high spread here of 24. Let's see what it is now. It might be. Let's see what it is now. What's the line? I could see this
game being similar to Wisconsin, Utah State last night, where it might be close early, but I think Northwestern will hit them hard in the second half. I don't know if it'll be 59-10, but I think it'll be a pretty big one. One last one, Peter. We'll finish it up with this one. Yeah. A lot of people asking about Wyoming and Iowa at the top of the hour here. If you're looking around, you can get 12.5 still on Wyoming. I'm one to think, Peter, this is a lower scoring football game. I don't know why. I know Josh Allen's the man out in Laramie, but what else do you have there with this team? They lost a lot last year. The run game's kind of gone. And I think Iowa's another team that might struggle to move the football as well. I think this is just two teams that are kind of you're going to be lower scoring and just kind of run the football and try to see what their quarterbacks have early on. I think Wyoming's probably the play, though. I think they have some things that could definitely beat Iowa. They have an elite quarterback, and Iowa doesn't. Do you have anything on Iowa, Wyoming, Peter?
Yeah, this one reminds me of the just for as far as the total is concerned, it reminds me of the BC Northern Illinois game. All last week, I didn't put it in any show on my official record, but all last week I was saying that I like the under in the BC Northern Illinois game. I got it at 47.5, and I told Drew Martin and others that I liked it less, but still liked it at under 47.5. And this is the exact same kind of situation. There was sharp action on the under. I kind of liked it at 55. Now it's down to 51.5 or 52. Obviously, I like it less at that number, but I still think that probably I agree with you. I think it's going to be a relatively low scoring game, and obviously a lot less value. Although Heritage has 52, the Greek has 52. So yeah, I would still like the under here a lot less than at the earlier line, but I would have a lean to the under, and there was some sharp action that came in on the under on that one as well.
You know what, Peter? I'm feeling my oats, and I'm going to feel stupid if I don't take this one. I'm going to add one other pick. I'm going to go with
Okay.
I'm going to go with South Florida today. Minus what are we at? 34.
Well, here's the thing. There's
Yeah.
some good news / bad news with that. The good news is that there was a very recent move. Oh, wow. No, it bounced back. Oh, man. All right. At Bookmaker, it went to 33.5. And then when I refreshed the screen, it was back up to 35. So, okay, yeah. No 33.5s anymore.
All right. I'll go minus 35. No problem with that. I'm going to lay
Why don't you take the Greek number, minus 34?
I didn't even see that. Okay, Greek. Yeah, let's do it. Minus 34. I have the main ones up here. I didn't even see the Greek here. All right, South Florida minus 34. I'm going to feel stupid if I don't bet that one. That'll be my one big favorite today. All my other ones are dogs other than Texas Tech. So there you go. 5 picks for you. Don't say I don't give anyone anything. And I also give a free premium play in NC State minus 6.5. So I think I've been more than charitable today, Peter Loshak.
So you don't want to add NC State to your official record in this show?
Well, I have it on my official record, which is documented, by the way. All you people don't think I am. You know what? I'm going to keep that on my record, Peter. I don't want to mix that in with the plays that I give here, but I just wanted to give that out for the guys to let them know. But I'll go with 5 free plays here on the show.
All right, sounds good. Again, Jeff's plays Western Michigan plus 28, Kent plus 38.5, Appalachian State plus 13, Texas Tech minus 8.5, and South Florida minus 34. I'm taking the over in Troy Boise, although the recent line moved to the under. It makes me nervous. And I'm also taking Cal plus 13, and I'm also leaning to the under in the Cal UNC game as well. Actually, you know what? I think maybe I will throw that one. Wow, that one has jumped up to 59 at Pinnacle. A big line move to the over in the Cal UNC game. Not quite understanding that one at all. All right, I'll just stick with those 2 plays, and that's going to be it for me. 2 plays for me, 5 from Jeff from the. Sorry again, 5 from Jeff Nate. What should I call you?
Just call me Big Man, Peter. That's no problem.
Big Man. Okay, 5 from Big Man, 2 from me, and I guess that's about it. We're at the 12 o'clock Eastern point right now, just about there, and I guess we can wrap it up. Anyone who took our advice and bet some of these 12 o'clock Eastern games, hope you all cash, right, Jeff?
Yeah, and I wish them all luck. Peter, we actually got a couple donations here. How about that? We not only got, I think we got 3 or 4 $5 donations. How about that?
Okay, well, I get 10% of that. 10% of everything that comes in, I get before anyone gets paid. I get my 10%.
I think we should give SBR a small amount, and we keep the rest.
Yeah.
I mean, we did all the work here, didn't we? I mean, how about that, Peter? We basically got $10 an hour to do this. How about that? It's more than we regularly make. Everyone have a great night. Thanks for all the great listens, comments. We got a ton of people on here today. Appreciate all the likes. We'll be back next week. Catch all the great college football talk all week on SBR. I'll be on. Peter will be on.
One other thing.
Yep.
Can we plug my MLB show, because I had another winning day on Friday, 2-1. That puts me up.
Give Peter the plug. Peter, plug what you got.
Yeah, every day I'm killing it in MLB. Another winning day on Friday. It was 2-1. I had 2 pushes as well. So now I'm up like 31 units since July 5th in that show. An ROI of like plus 15%. It's ridiculous.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. If you're going to plug something, I'm going to plug something. I'm going to plug a World Cup qualifiers. A couple of those today. I have 2 plays. I'm on Albania and the under 3.5 goals. You can get that at Bet365, and yes, I do have Bet365 because I do those things, Peter Loshak. I'm also on Croatia, minus 3.5. That line did go up. If you get 4, bet it. They're playing Kosovo. Kosovo's one of the worst teams in the world. Croatia needs one of those get-right games. Look for them to win 5 or 6-0. Croatia minus 3.5 or 4. Also, Albania and the under 3.5. I think that's a 2 or 3-0 game. Everyone have a great night. Peter, great job at baseball. Good luck today. And all of you guys, have fun watching college football. We're out. We'll be back next week, 11 a.m. on SBRPicks.com.